So good morning. I wanted to jump on and just to say thank you to everybody for the support over the last couple of weeks. Here I am with the great man at Christmas, pulling the Christmas cracker. Great moment, great picture, great times. Um, I think I won that battle with the Christmas cracker. But anyway, I've nobody here to say otherwise now. But yeah, I really just appreciate all the messages and the kindness and the support that you've given over the last couple of weeks. It really does mean a lot to me. And one thing that my dad, Michael, brought to me was three really key things, which is kindness, love, and support. And they're things I try to bring into my life every single day when working with people and treating people and talking to people, and with my family and everybody as well. He's really instilled some awesome values for me as well. Um, so thank you again. Really appreciate it. Um, Today, what I wanted to dive into was protective movement. And protective movement, right, equals more pain and more suffering. And I want you to know that. A lot of people think that protective movement equals preservation of structure, less pain, better life. Hmm. I know it's complete opposite of what you probably think. And I remember having someone in the clinic with me, and they were saying to me that they are protecting their body because they don't want to have more problems in the future. And I just kind of let it sit, and maybe there was a bit of an awkward silence when that person said it. But the next thing they said was, that's not the right thing to do, is it? And then we opened up the conversation about actually changing what's kind of happening. This notion that we're going to preserve our body by not doing things is wild. Like, the human structure is biological, so it needs a stimulus to maintain its strength, its ability, its capability, its capacity, its physical structure. The minute we start taking those things away, particularly as we get older and as we age, the decline starts to begin, and we're into a lot of problems. Like, I would meet a lot of people who say, I have a bad back now because I played rugby when I was younger, or I played sport when I was younger. And really, what they're actually saying when you go back to that is that over a period of time, they've actually become less active since they've stopped doing that. So the period of time that's ensued since then is that they've been less active, less movement, maybe poorer lifestyle habits over a period of time. And then their body is a reflection of that, not the sport they played when they were younger. It's often bigger than that. But they're the stories, they're the kind of stories that I was talking to you a little bit about with your identity, that we start telling ourselves, that become truth, and that but are actually nothing to do with truth. They're just, and I'm going to say, excuses. It's procrastination. It's often deeper than that, though. It's fear. It's fear. So we tell ourselves a story because we have a fear about doing something, and we don't want pain. We want to avoid pain. We are programmed to avoid pain, but actually, pain is necessary for us, and pain is necessary for lots of reasons, because the pain is often telling us something. There's often a really positive message coming from most pain, particularly pain that happens without and completely in the absence of trauma. It's trying to tell us to change something. It's trying to tell us to do something different. But oftentimes we just associate that with physical structural damage, that it wraps it up in the fear, and our movement then becomes more protective. And then that's habitual. So what we practice is what we get. So if we practice protective movement, we end up with more pain and more suffering. And that's something that a lot of people need to break out of, because if you don't break that habit, what happens over time, the compounding changes that you're making to your life will lead to huge drops in your physical capability and conditioning, which is your strength, your ability to do things physically, to move physically, to get yourself dressed, to play with your kids, to do the garden, to get in and out of the car, to go to work, to sit for long periods. They will all become affected when you start protecting your body and moving in certain ways. The other thing as well, protective movement, is that people often go and seek help, and then what they're often told is that their posture is wrong, or that their muscles aren't firing right. So what do? They adopt rigid, tense positions, which is the complete opposite of actually what they need to do, because that's more protective movement. So if, say, instance, I have a bad back and someone says my posture is wrong, and now I'm sitting up straight in a rigid way, what's going to happen there is I'm now heightening the protective movement and protective mode. So now I have more pain and more suffering coming from my strategy to manage it. And this is something that's really not very well understood. And it's completely goes against the narrative that a lot of people actually get. But the narrative isn't working, because I guarantee you, if you've had that explained to you like that, and you still have pain, and you then feel that you're not doing enough of that thing, you're actually heading down the wrong path. And I've talked to people a lot about the right path and the wrong path, and we can get caught up in that. One of the big things, again, like, that just wraps that, is the fear. Fear is the thing that everybody is operating from when they have back pain for a long period of time. Fear of making it worse, the fear of doing the wrong thing, the fear of flaring up their back pain, fear of being out of work, fear of not being able to look after your family. But the irony of that, and sort of the thing with the fear, is that the more you let the fear dominate your life, the more problems that you're going to have in the future, the more you will lose all of the things that you don't want to lose, because you're adopting the habits of somebody who is promoting fragility, is promoting tense and guarded and restricted movement. So that's what you feel in your body because you practice that the most. And I think, like, it always comes back to me for the right path and the wrong path. And I think for a lot of people, they're heading and walking the wrong path, thinking that they're heading in the right direction, but they're just going further into the distance, where all of life starts to continually shrink, confidence starts to change, fear starts to rise, and they just stay stuck in that same cycle and walking that wrong path. And a very simple shift, it can actually occur when we see that we're walking the wrong path, and then we start to shift it over. And this is something with the better back reset that really takes you out of the identity of somebody with a bad back and plugs you in, right? Plugs you into that person who doesn't have a bad back. And then you start to expand your life based on all of those things. Now, is it perfect when you start? Is it like you just everything goes into sunshine and ease at the beginning? No, it's not. Pain is there for a reason. It's there to tell us to change, to do something different. So when we start adopting new habits and different ways of doing things, it feels weird. It feels wrong. It might be a little bit uncomfortable and awkward at the start. But the way that we're walking on that right path there will lead us into something much brighter. Whereas when we're walking the wrong path, all we're heading towards is more fear, more loss of life, more confidence loss, more missing out on the things that we want to do with our family and our friends. And our movement is a really clear way of feeding into the system that we're on the right path. And so when we make decisions to move in different ways, we're promoting and building habitual, small compounding changes over a period of time. And like anything to do with health, it's all about consistency over a period of time. And what we end up then is a life that we want. And very quickly, what people start to see is that life starts expanding. And then our mind, rather than being closed and shut down by protection, it's actually opening up to the possibility of doing things again and living the life that we want to live. And that's something that we have to embrace, we have to dive into. And it's something that I do with the Better Back Reset. Over the next couple of weeks, there's going to be something really cool. I'm going to have something amazing for you over the course of the Better Back Reset. So keep an eye out for that. If you have any questions on any of this stuff, like related to your own individual situation, like reach out and ask me. I'll be delighted to come back and answer any questions that you have. Because a lot of people, this can be sometimes a little bit challenging to what they really think they need to do. And you can get a little bit of conflict and it can make you feel a little bit uncomfortable. Sometimes you can feel a bit silly because it sounds so simple sometimes, but it isn't. It's just that's the path that you're stuck on. And I know what, with kindness, with love, and like my dad said as well. So take care.